Day 36, self-isolation. Thanks for your comments and your likes on Day 35's video. Much appreciated it. I think it made a very important point, and I kind of carry on as I left off yesterday. And one of the most amazing things I saw only from yesterday on my Facebook feed was my friend who actually put a clip of Piers on there, and I used the word interviewing. I would actually rather use the words holding to account Simon Clarke MP on the actual death toll for COVID-19. Because have you noticed that even now some of the decent papers, I say the decent papers, I mean they obviously all still support the Tories, but some of the decent papers are actually including in the stats that when they report them, these are deaths in hospital, or they're just putting hospital deaths. But of course, as you all know from what I said yesterday and from what everyone is saying in the media, the deaths in care homes are being ignored, or they're not being reported until later. They're certainly not being included in the overall death rate, which yesterday I believe stood at just over 17,000. Now, those of you who've seen it will see somebody actually posted a tiny bit from the Financial Times. I mean, for crying out loud, can you get more authoritative? This isn't COVID, by the way. I've just got to wipe my nose. Yeah, it's not COVID. I know my tissue's falling apart. I feel like I'm falling apart at this time in the morning. But this was from the Financial Times, right? So we're not talking rubbish here. We're talking the Financial Times. They estimate that on to that overall death figure, you could add possibly even more than 28% on to that 17,000 reported yesterday, yeah, which would take it to the region of something like 28,800, and I'm not brilliant at maths, that's adding 40%. Moving forwards on that, I think the article in the FT said that we're most likely dealing with an overall death toll of around 40,000 plus. And what I absolutely loved when Piers held this Tory MP, I don't know if you can describe a typical Tory MP, but I don't know about Simon Clarke. I kind of always look at them and I look for the smirk. Yeah, it's just a habit I've got. I can't help it. Ever since I saw, Captain Smirk there, Pretty Politti, yeah, I always look on a Tory MP's face on that kind of really well-groomed appearance and everything. Forehead, probably better than mine, brilliantly lit by the BBC, produced straight to camera, yeah, square on camera angle. I always look just to see if I can see just a faint trace of a smirk, yeah. Now, it was hard to distinguish a smirk on Simon Clarke's face, but I think somewhere behind he was probably just trying to hide one. But what I love about Piers was at one point when he was questioning him on this, the Simon Clarke MP said, well, the statistics, and what was just brilliant, yeah. And I'm surprised to even see Piers do it. It totally surprises me. The guy jumped back on Clarke and said, these are not just numbers, these are not just statistics, these are people's mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, grandfathers, close friends, relatives, people they've worked with all their lives. And then of course he concluded, and well, Clarke gave him the usual stuff about, well, I think we might be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves now. And then because when he said that thing to him about, statistics, he said, how dare you talk of them as statistics, yeah? But the great thing was to see that he actually held him to account. It was absolutely heartwarming. It was wonderful to watch one of their own squirm. It's never happened before. It generally doesn't happen. Nobody holds them to account. They never squirm. They never ever do. Somebody also made a comment that I thought was good about that, was like he's kind of doing Keir Starmer's job for him. Yeah, I think that's about right. As the blue stain spreads further across our Labour red flag, Piers is doing the job for us. Very sad, that, isn't it? I hate seeing our Labour red flag tinged blue. Man's ridiculous. How the hell did you ever manage to elect him? How did you manage to do that? A man who was part of stabbing Corbyn in the back. Bloody hell. There was one meme going around with a toilet roll on one side and Keir on the other side. And it says, who sold out faster? Yeah, I love it. Who sold out faster? Yeah. But it's good to see them being held to account. It is vitally important also that we remember that, yeah, a lot of these care homes, by no means all, are privately owned. Yeah. Now, if workers there are not getting proper PPE, do you think that might just be like, well, the rich buggers who own the homes, who get hundreds of pounds a week for each resident, might it just be that they think that might be a bit of a waste, spending all that money? Might be a bit of a waste, yeah? And then your carers get COVID-19, yeah? And they're off work and can't care for the people. Now, as we knew from what we read of carers reporting in these homes, the death of their residents in these circumstances is terrible. It's been described by many as agonising. If perhaps they're able to at least shift the residents into their own individual rooms or whatever. But everybody reports this sensation of drowning. And the carers are not able to give the kind of palliative medication or the sedation or something that would at least put that person at rest a little bit. I mean, can you imagine what it must feel like to actually be drowning in your own fluids, in your own bodily fluids? Your lungs have filled right up. The gas exchange can no longer happen. Yeah? And you must be gasping for air. It must be terrifying to spend your last moments alive like that. It must be terrifying. And for this bloke then to mention their deaths as just a statistic was disgraceful. Yeah? But that's all they are. You see, Tories love dealing in statistics because it distances them from reality. Yeah? You know, I think it was Stalin who said that while you may regard one death as a tragedy, 1 million deaths is a statistic. Yeah? That's Tory mentality. That's Toryville mentality. 1 million deaths is a statistic. Yeah? And make no mistake about it. Yeah? They locked down and whatever deliberately late because they wanted to get rid of more old, sick, vulnerable, disabled people whom they consider of no economic use. And they have already had MPs saying, we are a burden on the state. They locked down late because they wanted to kill more of us. They've managed to kill about 130,000 through planned poverty, DWP, stroke austerity. They've managed to kill thousands through our own suicide. Yeah, they've managed to do that. Yeah, but this is a great way to add to the total. And at the same time, what do we get? Branson begging for a bailout. Oh, you know what will happen, though, of course. He'll get it. He always will. Yeah? Tories bail out billionaires because they're one of the club. It's like Tories using someone like Dyson to make the wrong ventilators because he's one of the club as well. You know, why shouldn't the business go to him? The PPE, just kind of coming towards the end now, just thinking, well, apparently the RAF C-130 or whatever, or Hercules, landed. It's got the PPE on board. Now, don't forget, according to calculations, even if that manages to get out to the people who need it today, and that will probably not really include people in old folks and care homes, but if it does get out there today, it's only about 3 days' supply. My predictions and my suspicions, I still suspect, after a little phone call with Donald today, fit for work Johnson, come on, you lazy bugger, you're fit for work. Ian Duncan Smith would have you back at work or you'd be sanctioned. Yeah. So after his phone call with Trump, yeah, I sincerely believe we'll find that the lockdown date's going to be the unlocked date, sorry, not the lockdown date. I fear the unlocked date will be announced probably within the next 3 or 4 days. Yeah. He's got to have a little word with Trump first. Yeah. And then I think we're going to find we'll be unlocking. Yeah. Of course they'll do it. They're bound to. They can see the figures falling now. There's even talk of them flattening out. We do worry about a second wave. Of course we do. But come on. We need people back at work to produce wealth for the billionaires. Yeah. When it comes to what's more important, lives or profit, ask any Tory. Profit. Profit matters. Always. You and me, your grandparents, your mothers, your fathers, your aunts, your uncles, disposable. Worked out, done all they could, disposable. Making rich people richer needs your efforts, my efforts. So, I promise, won't be long now before lockdown date to end will be declared. Okay, that's it. Stay locked down, stay safe, and just look after each other, okay? Bye.